1. Boom, there it is. Have no fear, the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast is here. Name is Michael Rapaport, a.k.a. the Sultan of Sniff, a.k.a. the Inflamed Ashkenazi, a.k.a. the Gringo Mandingo, a.k.a. the White Chocolatito, a.k.a. Mr. New York, and you are now rocking with the very, very best. I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast is in Sukasa. Welcome to the Iron Dome of Disruption. Welcome to the Ziggity Zone of Disruption. Yeah. As we remember the Day of Remembrance, January 6th, a.k.a. the Day of the Dumb, we have a fantastic podcast in store for you because we have the part-time, sometime co-host with the most. They call him the young shooter. Some call him Deuce Collins. Some call him Deuce Cuddles. The young shooter is in Sukasa. Boom.
That they do, Michael. Some people do call me that. And the Deuce Cuddles line, that moniker is really that makes me happy, man. That actually makes me happy. I've retired Mr. Brazil. I've retired a couple of the monikers, but Deuce Cuddles, I really like that. Thank you, man.
Yeah, well,
how are you, man? Sorry, I wanted to say I love this color palette going on. For the people that are watching it, like you got the purple. It's like kind of a bluish purple couch. You're all dark. You got the black mic, the black hat. Like you got a nice aura about you right now. Your aura is purple.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Shout out to the purple man himself, Prince. I appreciate that. I feel good. I'm looking good. I appreciate the compliment. Happy to have you back. You really got that moniker down. Part-time, sometime co-host with the most. You never know when he's going to be here, when he's not going to be here. But when he comes, he brings the smiles. He brings the noise. He brings the boys and the girls, of course, adult boys and girls.
Yeah, adult girls. Yeah, of course. What are you talking about?
Well, boy, you got to be everything. I know
you can't say girls. It's got to be women. Or I don't know.
He brings the theys. He brings the thems. He brings the theirs. He brings the hims, the hers, the she's. You got to include everybody. It's me.
Don't discriminate.
No, I'm just trying to be inclusive.
Like that word too, man. I've never heard you say that in the 20 years that I've known you. That's cool.
Thank you. Let's just jump into it. This podcast is being recorded on January 6, 2023, a.k.a. the Day of the Dumb, remembering all things that happened on January 6th. And I'll just, I was thinking about it. I know I was living in Los Angeles at the time, still full-time, and like everybody else, I was watching that situation unfold, and I was not totally surprised. Well, I was surprised that it happened the way it happened, but the guy said, January 6th is going to be nuts. January 6th is going to be wacky. January 6th is going to be wild. I'll see you on. He said it a few times, and I took heed to what he said because on December 30th, after he said January 6th was going to be wacky, was going to be wild, I posted a video saying, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" Obviously, when you saw it break down and unfold the way it did, and continue to unfold the way it did that day, and it was like, is this going to continue to go on? Are they actually going to get in the building? Oh my God, they're in the building. Are they actually going to go upstairs? Oh my God, they're upstairs. Are they actually going to get on the Capitol floor? Oh my God, they're going to get on the Capitol floor. Are they actually going to fight? Yes. Are they going to continue to fight? Oh no. Are they beating up officers? Like, what the hell is going on here? And that's when I also got my 150-day suspension on Facebook, because I had went on social media and I had said, if this had been thousands of black people storming the Capitol, there'd be dead black bodies all over the Capitol building. There'd be black bodies bleeding out all over Washington, D.C. I don't know what happened. I don't know how it happened. Obviously, like I said, He said January 6th was going to be hell. Why it was harder to break into an Apple store during the George Floyd riots. Why it was harder to break into, the Montclair store in Soho than it was to get into the Capitol on January 6th. I have no idea. Where were you?
I honestly don't remember where I was in that moment, and I feel like I should remember where I was. But is that true? Like, not one person got tased. Did anyone get tased? Did anyone get hit? Like, I don't remember anything happening to these people. I do remember the guy with the lion skin. Whoever came in with that lion skin draped around him and like that hat. Like, I feel like he's like. That's like the main guy. Like, that's the most famous out of all of them. And I'm wondering, like, are the majority of these people are all in jail now, right? They've caught all of them pretty much, right?
Yes, a lot of them got caught. A lot of them are in jail. Viking Man, as I like to refer to him.
Viking Man.
He's in jail. The guy who broke into Pelosi's office and stole the letter. He's in jail. There's a good amount of them in jail. Some of them aren't in jail. And, a lot of them were hopped up on that QAnon. They were hopped up on that Q. They were hopped up thinking that these emails that were being sent, we saw that documentary, these emails that were being sent by basically online scammers were coming from the president. Pig Dick Donald Trump. I say that affectionately. Pig Dick Donald Trump, Dick Stain Donald Trump, dog shit Donald Trump. They thought that they were being told by him via these emails, QAnon, under the name QAnon, to do all this. It was all the election fraud. It was all, will Mike Pence stand up and do the right thing? And, it's crazy because, the people that are on the side of Pig Dick Donald Trump, they're like, well, only this amount of people died and it was only breaking and entering. It's like, there wasn't enough carnage for some people for it to be impressive. You need more dead police officers. You need more dead people. And I'm always just like, do you check on your brothers in arms? Do you check on your like on that day you guys were all together? Have you sent commissary to Viking Man? Have you sent go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's my question. Like, I feel like do these people get fan mail, or is it like are they writing to these people like Jeffrey Dahmer in prison? Like, do you think that they have do you think a lot of these people are celebrities now? Like Viking Man, do you think that he's got just like a slew of women who are just like, I want to marry you. I want to come visit you. Like, do you think it's that same kind of thing of like the Night Stalker, people like that? Is it similar to that?
100%. Because we're talking about mental illness. We're talking about like legions and legions of people that have no sense of self. Donald Trump, Pig Dick Donald Trump, Dick Stain Donald Trump, dog shit Donald Trump, he preys on the vulnerable. He preys on the people that have insecurities and that don't, like, it's like as if the Beatles were telling fans to show up and storm the Capitol.
Right.
Like, he preys, like, these are fans. These are basically fans of Trump, and they would have done anything he said, and they tried to do some wild shit. Like, they literally, if they could have got their hands on old lady Nancy or Mike Pence or AOC or any of these people in government, who knows how bad things would have turned out, because people came in there with bad agendas, all in the name of Dick Stain Donald Trump.
Yes, I mean, it's like a little cult. Like it's like Jonestown almost. It's like
totally.
It's like he's fucking telling you to drink the Kool-Aid, and you're going in there doing whatever this guy wants you to do. I mean, it's scary, but yeah, I am curious about if anyone's visiting them in prison or writing them fan mail. I would love to see the fan mail they're getting, and I wonder if anyone's gotten married in jail and
all that.
They're like, yeah. So
do you like the name that I gave affectionately January 6th, aka the Day of the Dumb.
Of the Dumb. I think it's like Dia de los Muertos, right? Is that kind of like the same thing with like Halloween?
Yes.
I feel like that should. I'm shocked that hasn't caught on with the rest of the world. But I think, I mean, what is the title of today? I mean, is it? It's
January
it's
6th. It's January 6th Remembrance Day, aka the Day of the Dumb, because obviously, most importantly, we want to remember the people. Lives were lost. Capitol Police officers' lives were lost.
Yeah.
And that's first and foremost. Those people, those families, also the other the people that were fighting. Like the Capitol people that didn't get killed, but that got beaten up, and the trauma that comes with that. So of course we want to remember them first, and then we call it Remembrance Day for them, and then we call it the Day of the Dumb for the people that stormed the Capitol, because we also want to. We want to remember them, and we want to remember that people are that dumb to do something in the name of a person that literally wouldn't spit on you if you were on fire.
Right, and who had a cameo in Home Alone 2. So
you talking about dog shit Donald Trump?
Yeah, I'm talking about dog shit Donald Trump. And is this the 1 year anniversary?
2.
This is 2.
What are you smoking? Fucking, what are you on? Mushrooms?
No, I remember that we've celebrated this before, but I feel like it hasn't been a national holiday in the way that you're saying that it should be. I feel like it really hasn't been that, like, it's the Day of the Dumb. It's January 6th. Like, I feel like people don't really talk about it as much as they should each year. Like, it should be.
I agree.
Should be like that. So.
And you
forget.
And he's gone, but not forgotten. Because, like, you see the comments, people are like, why are you still talking about Trump? He's gone. He's not gone. His thumbprints are still all over the Republican Party, who this guy, Matt Gaetz, this guy in Congress, Matt Gaetz, who appears to not have a bottom and or top lip. He's got like his shit was like lost in a fire. Like he has no upper or lower lip. He looks like Jim Carrey in The Mask. Like his whole shit.
Just Are you talking about Butthead? Is that Butthead? Or is that Beavis? Matt Gaetz got the Butthead, right? He looks like Beavis and Butthead.
Yes, he looks like Beavis and Butthead. He looks like both of them.
Somehow, right? And so do Eric and Donald Jr. I don't know what the correlation is with that, but a lot of them look like Beavis and Butthead. So yeah.
Anyway, yes, just the other day, while they're trying to get the Speaker of the House voted in, he said he was voting for Donald J. Trump. So you have Trump derangement syndrome, Matt Gaetz. You're still waiting for Daddy to come back and be the president, aren't you?
But he's coming back, though. I think he is coming back.
Yo, never say never. He said he's coming back, just like he said on January 6th. There will be hell. It's going to be hell.
Yeah.
So you got to take him seriously. Anyway, I am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Obviously, the Damar Hamlin situation, the Buffalo Bill defensive safety who collapsed on the field. There's been good news with that. That was a crazy story. This morning, It was the news came out that he spoke, that the tube from his mouth, the breathing tube was removed, and he's hopefully on his way to recover from a freakish, crazy, just sort of once in a lifetime, hopefully. Just scary incident that happened in the Buffalo Bills Cincinnati Bengals game. Now, we know that Deuce Collins doesn't watch a lot of sports, particularly football, but you've been following this story, right?
I've been following. I mean, yeah, I heard about it. I mean, were you watching that game as it happened? Did you see? Because I haven't seen the clip. I haven't seen anything. I don't have an interest to see the clip. But like, were you watching that?
I was watching the game. I had fantasy football ramifications with that game, and I was watching it live. And you saw it, but you just thought maybe he had a concussion. You didn't think that it was something other than that. And not to say that concussions aren't like serious, but you were used to seeing concussions in football. We're used to seeing concussions in boxing and UFC, in mixed martial arts. But this was scary, you know, and you knew it was something unusual to see an ambulance come on the field. And, you know, normally when football players have been concussed, you know, they'll wake up, and then when they're being, you know, driven off the field, they'll give the thumbs up or some sort of sign. But this was totally different. And you know, you got the sense, because they weren't saying, because I'm sure the NFL was like, do not say anything, do not give any misinformation. Obviously, they're freaking out. Like, do we have a young man die on the field on a Monday night football game in prime time? Like, is this what's happening? And, you know, apparently he had to be revived, which is insane.
Insane. And the NFL wanted to keep the game going, didn't they? I mean, wasn't that the whole...
Listen, they didn't know what was going on. So, no, they didn't want to keep the game going. Listen, you know, I feel like with this situation, it was so upsetting and so frustrating and so scary that people want to point fingers. Yeah. When unprecedented things happen, you know, you might not handle it as perfect as you would if it happened all the time. You know, I feel like the NFL handled it great. I feel like the broadcasters handled it as good as you can. I feel like the decision not to play the game has been great. It's great that this young man is breathing. It was shocking. It was scary. I can't imagine, you know, those players on the field. Like I said, you know, they've probably all had concussions. They've probably all seen their friends, their teammates, opponents, you know, go down with concussions, and then, you know, they wake up. But when you're seeing somebody be given CPR and the urgency that must have been, I'm sure it was.
That's really frightening, and thank God that he's woken up and all that stuff. And I heard that didn't he say, like, or didn't he write yesterday on a piece of paper, like, did we win? That was like the first thing.
First thing that he wrote was, "Did we win?" Which is like some Rocky Rudy. Yeah. That's like a movie moment. That's like, you know, like is. You know, like Rocky 2, a moment when Adrian, she wakes up out of her coma after having their first son, Rocky Jr. And, you know, Rocky had been in the church praying, and Mickey was praying with him. And he said, you know, he's trying to give him a motivational speech, and Rocky wouldn't, he just couldn't do it. And Paulie was trying to give him a motivational speech, and he wouldn't do it. And then finally, Adrian woke up out of her coma, and Rocky went to go see their little son, who had great hair. A beautiful, thick mane of black hair. And why wouldn't he have a thick mane of black hair? Because Adrian, of course, his mother has beautiful, thick black hair. And of course, the Italian stallion has beautiful, thick black hair. And right. She sees the kid. He sees the kid. And then Rocky in the room, he says to her, you know, if you don't want me mixing it up with Creed anymore, I won't do it. And she says, the one thing I want you to do is come here. And she goes, win. And you see Rocky's face start to smile. And then you cut to Mickey, and he goes, what are we waiting for? Goosebumps, man. Yo.
Yeah, that's a movie though, man. It's a fucking movie. You know what I mean?
Yo, Dave, it's a movie. When I brought you through that scene, did you get goosebumps? Yo. Rocky 2 is an underrated film.
Listen, I just worked my way up to Rocky 1 for the first time not too long ago. So I am with you on that, but that anyway, that's a scary fucking moment, man. I didn't watch that, but and you know what? I wanted to ask you about this, and I don't know if this is, you know, it's a personal question and all that kind of stuff, but you know, it's just speaking of like how, you know, freak accidents and things like that. And, you know, you never know when someone can just like pass away right in front of you or have a heart attack or whatever. And like, weren't you with director Ted Demme, who directed Beautiful Girls and the movie Blow? Weren't you with him when he suffered a heart attack?
I was thinking a lot about that. I was thinking a lot about that this week. I was with him when the late, great friend, he's a friend. Yeah. Ted Demme had a heart attack and passed away. We were playing basketball, and it was a celebrity pickup game. So it was an organized celebrity game. And, you know, we had been, you know, talking and we were on the bench, And, we were talking about this movie he was going to do and, just regular nonsense. And Ted got up and he said, let's go back in the game. And then he fell backwards.
Holy shit.
All the action was down this way and Ted was this way. And like, he said, let's go back in the game. And then he fell backwards and it was so exaggerated and so like dramatic. For a second, I was like thinking maybe he's like playing like it's a pratfall. And then, like the second later, I went to go look at him and, he was struggling. And then, I called for help. And, it took like, it seemed like forever. It probably took 5 seconds to get everybody's attention because it was a big gym and everybody was looking down that end.
Yeah.
And, you knew what was going on. You knew what was going on. Like I didn't know it was a heart attack per se. I didn't know, but you knew that he was in serious, serious trouble. And he wasn't choking. And I was looking at him and, he just had his son. He just had his second son. And my kids would play with his kids and, his wife, Amanda, I've known for years and I'm friends with her since Beautiful Girls and afterwards. And I had to call her and, met her at the hospital. It was a fucking tragedy.
You called her. Were you the first person to tell his wife?
Yeah.
That is, man, that's a very traumatic experience to be around.
It was rocking. It rocked me. It rocked me. I mean, it was devastating. It was devastating, obviously, for Amanda, and his son never got to meet, his father.
Oh.
I mean, he had a baby. It was months after, he had his son. And, and I met her at the hospital and, it was terrible. It was as terrible as you could imagine. And, he was very, very, very well loved and had a big family and a lot of friends. And, he had, hands and ties into a lot of different people and it was a scary, it was devastating. It was a devastating situation to see that.
I mean, to see that and to have that, that's your friend and that's someone you've worked with and you know his family and not to mention he was, what was he, 38 years old? He was young. I mean, it wasn't like, someone who's in their 60s or whatever. I mean, and there was there wasn't any signs that, like there wasn't any telltale signs right before it happened.
Nope.
You were saying
he was sweating. We were playing ball. We were playing basketball. Full court basketball, which, we played all the time. And Ted was a heavy set dude, but he was an athletic heavy set dude. He was just like one of those, dudes. So it was terrible. And, to hopefully this kid, DeMar Hamlin, makes it out of it. But, to go through that fear of what those players witnessed, I'm sure, they're never going to, be the same. Hopefully, this kid's going to make a full recovery, and they're saying he is. But it definitely this week, I was like, that was crazy.
I can't imagine. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, you don't really talk about that, obviously, but like that, man, that's a very traumatic experience, and just like a crazy week for a lot of stuff, like the Jeremy Renner with the snowplow fault, like, and then the guy who created DC Shoes died in a freak snowmobile accident where it fell on him. It was just like a whole bunch of shit was going on. Like it's the start of the year, but it just, you never know when it's your time. Life is
crazy,
short. It's really
crazy.
Sad.
There's rain out in California, Northern Cal. Like, you got a rowboat? Like, what are we dealing with? What kind of rain are you dealing with?
I fucking love the rain. And I saw like on Twitter that Pineapple Express was trending. I thought like maybe a lot of people were watching the movie lately. I thought like that was just like on HBO or something, but I guess that's what they're calling the latest storm out in Northern California, the Pineapple Express.
They couldn't come up with something different for that?
I don't know. I mean, it's very fitting for California, but it was raining like fucking crazy on New Year's. You couldn't do shit on New Year's. It was pouring out, and I've been kind of sick the past fucking week. It's not COVID, but I have had a lump in my throat for the past week. I don't know what the fuck is going on. So I did jack shit on New Year's. You know what I ended up doing on New Year's was I ordered a pizza and I ended up watching the absolute classic movie from 2007, No Country for Old Men, directed by the Coen brothers. because I'm trying to think of, I want to find this article about. Do you remember what that article was about Javier Bardem's
about
character?
No Country for Old Men, about Javier Bardem. There were like psychologists and psychiatrists, talking about how he played like mental ill, like a psychopath. It was the best portrayal of a psychopath or something like that.
Yeah, it was. I just wanted to find it. It was psychiatrists studied 400 movies to find the most realistic psychopath, and Anton Chigurh, who Javier Bardem played in No Country for Old Men, was the most realistic psychopath. Next to, I think, I don't know if it was Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight, or if it was what's his name from Silence of the Lambs.
Hannibal Lecter's.
Yeah, Hannibal Lecter. But anyway, that
Hannibal
article,
Lecter's.
I was like,
Lecter's. It's Lecter's. It's Hannibal Lecter's.
No, it's Hannibal Lecter.
No, the guy's name is Hannibal Lecter's.
I thought it was Hannibal Lecter.
Lecter's. It's Hannibal Lecter's.
You sure?
It's Hannibal Lecter's. Trust me.
Okay, I guess I'll trust you. I've never heard that.
Jodie Forster and Hannibal Lecter's.
No, Jodie Foster.
Forster and Hannibal Lecter. That's what I said.
Oh, you're full of shit. You're full of shit. Jodie Forrester and Hannibal Lecter's. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Hannibal Lecter's and Jodie Foster's.
I'm fucking done with this conversation. I can't take you seriously. But No Country for Old Men is a fantastic rewatch. I can watch that movie at any time that it's on TV. But I watched it and I was like, damn. 2007, and you know what, that movie single-handedly like catapulted Javier Bardem and Josh Brolin into like A-list status, because Josh Brolin, he'd done the Goonies when he was young in the 80s, and bit parts here and there, all that stuff. But then he did Quentin Tarantino's movie Grindhouse, which was split between Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino. It was like the two movies. But he had a part in Grindhouse, and Quentin Tarantino actually shot his audition tape for No Country for Old Men on like the most incredible camera. It was like one of the most expensive audition tapes you could do. Like Robert Rodriguez shot it and Quentin directed it.
Are you serious? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And he was like really wanting that part, like really working, because it was the last part cast. I think Javier Bardem was first, then Tommy Lee Jones, and then they needed like this everyman, Josh Brolin's character. And on the set of Grindhouse, Quentin directed it. They sent it to the Coen brothers. They still wanted to see him in person, all that stuff, but he ended up getting cast. And now it's like fucking Josh Brolin is huge, and Javier Bardem. It's one of the most iconic villains in cinema history. And but it started making me think about, because I remember 2007 so well, and I think No Country got I think that won Best Picture too in 2007.
What other films came out in 2007?
I just remember There Will Be Blood.
Wow.
Came out in 2007. No Country for Old Men. I remember The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford with Brad Pitt.
That's an underrated movie.
Zodiac.
The Assassination of Jesse James is an underrated movie.
Amazing. Also totally underrated. A lot of Western kind of movies came out, like 3:10 to Yuma. Shout out to Logan Lerman in that, and Christian Bale and Russell Crowe.
We're going to get to Logan Lerman. I'm going to put a pin in Logan Lerman because I got something to say to him. Go ahead.
Okay. And wasn't Eastern Promises, Gone Baby Gone.
Wow.
Zodiac, the Fincher movie Zodiac. And then there were some classic comedies, like Superbad came out that year.
Damn.
Juno came out that year. It was I just remember that year in particular was like one of the greatest years for movies. I fucking loved that year. But No Country for Old Men, rewatch that movie.
I'm going to rewatch that. And you mentioned Logan Lerman, 3:10 to Yuma. It's funny because Logan Lerman, one of the stars with Al Pacino and Jennifer Jason Leigh of the Amazon show called, what is it called?
Hunters. I
actually just hit Logan Lerman, who I've known for years. Before he could drive, when he had his Justin Bieber haircut, Logan Lerman, who I would say I looked after, good friend of yours, doing a show with Al Pacino on the press tour with Al Pacino for the second season of Hunters. And I reached out to Logan today. I said, hey, I see you and Al, because he's like friends with Al Pacino.
He's shown he not only has he worked with him, but like he's shown me text messages of Al Pacino like texting him and like them having like back and forth conversations with each other, like I love you and all that. Like it's fucking crazy.
Right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to get Logan and Al Pacino to come on the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. And basically, Logan, you're going to be like an assistant, because if you come on with Al Pacino, I'm not even asking you anything. Like, you could go get coffee. You could, like, you're like a plant. If you come on the TV, like, you're literally like a plant. Just take a nap, get on your phone. Like, you're bringing him there, and then it's not like I'm going to be like, so Logan, what do you think? It's all Al, everything. I want Al Pacino on the Al.
But I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that, because it's like then you're using Logan to get to Al Pacino, and if he knows
Logan
that,
used me for rides. Logan, like he when he was like a teenager with his Justin Bieber haircut. Yeah, that's fine. What am I going to be like? Oh, I want to interview you and Al. I don't care about you, Logan. I love you, but I'm not interviewing you.
Yeah,
like,
no, we used your house as an escape to smoke weed and drink a little bit, and
right.
You know, I don't want to implicate you in any allegations there, but but we did smoke weed at your house.
So now it's time to return the favor and bring Al home.
Return the favor.
Bring Al home to the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast, because we have some great interviews coming up. We got Hall of Famer, two-time Olympic champion, one of my favorite players from Brooklyn, New York, Chris Mullin. We got Alec Baldwin coming up. I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. We got my man To Catch a Predator, Chris Hansen, I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. You're a big Chris Hansen, I Am Catch a Predator fan.
I am so excited. I mean, because you're saying Alec Baldwin, you're saying all these amazing people, and then you say Chris Hansen, and I'm like, my fucking ears perk up. I'm like, I've watched every episode. I've seen every episode of To Catch a Predator. I love it. Perverted Justice was the group that they used to catch these motherfuckers, that lured him in with 13-year-old boys. And I know you had that podcast with him. I'm jealous I wasn't there. I want to know if you asked him the hard-hitting question, because I don't know if you know why the show ended. I'm not sure you know why.
Why did it end? I got to ask him that.
Predator.
Why did Catch a Predator end?
You didn't ask him that, did you?
No. Why did it end?
Because if I was there, I would ask him.
Okay, but you weren't there, motherfucker. You're barely here right now. If I was there, it's like a fucking arm twist to get you here for me. Well, why did it end?
That's not fucking true, man. But the show ended because on one of their last sting operations that they ever did, they caught he was a district attorney in Texas. He was a DA in Texas who was talking to a 13-year-old boy, all sorts of weird shit going on. And when they did the sting operation on him, and they had the SWAT team or they had the police officers standing by, ready, because that's what happens. They come in and tackle them and arrest them and all that stuff. The guy ended up killing himself in front of the entire crew and shot himself.
In front of Chris Hansen?
In front of Chris Hansen, in front of the whole camera crew.
Shit.
In front of everybody. And they asked Chris Hansen about it later on and been like, yo, how do you feel about that? And he says, I don't lose any sleep over it. I don't care about it. I lose no sleep over it. And that's what it was. But that's why they canceled the show. It's because someone ended up killing themselves in front of the entire camera crew.
Wow. Well, it's a great interview with Chris Hansen, To Catch a Predator. And I'll give you a sneak peek preview of something. I got Chris Hansen, who essentially is the sick fuck of the week whisperer, to do the sick fuck of the week with me.
Epic. I can't wait for this episode. I'm so excited. I feel like you two together, that's a fucking interesting duo right there.
Yeah, so we got that. We got Alec Baldwin, Chris Mullin, Chris Hansen. We're trying to get Logan Lerman and Al Pacino. I'll put your name first. Logan Lerman and Al Pacino. But really, like, just Al Pacino. You brought up No Country for Old Men. The other day, Robert Duvall, the great, sort of sometimes underappreciated, underrated totally understated actor Robert Duvall turned 92 years old. 92. He's still alive. I don't know if he plans on acting anymore, but what a fucking career Robert Duvall has had, from To Kill a Mockingbird to The Godfather, Part 2, to Colors, to Apocalypse Now.
Charlie, what does that have to do with No
Surf.
Country for Old Men?
What'd you say?
What does that have to do with No Country for Old Men?
Because I was thinking of Tommy Lee Jones as the same kind of actor.
Oh, right. Same,
just these great sort of, so is Josh Brolin, like understated actors. And I was The Great Santini, which is just such a great film. And Robert Duvall, he's so good. And, he's the kind of actor who looks like he's not acting. He's the kind of actor that you don't see any tricks. You don't see any bells and whistles. Like when he is on screen, you totally believe every single thing that he's saying. And he's done performance after performance after performance, and so many films for so many years. And in my opinion, he acted and directed in one of the great actor-director performances ever, The Apostle, which, I remember when The Apostle came out, which he acted and directed, like he plays this crazy preacher who's like self-destructing. It's so good. And I would see him out to dinner, like during that award season time, and, got to talk to him a little bit. And he's just exactly what you would think. He was a straight up regular dude, cool dude, and just... he directed another film, which I don't know where it is. I was looking for it the other day when I saw it was his birthday. A really unique, totally independent film called Angelo, My Love, which really inspired visually the movie Kids. And it's just a dope New York film about like these New York gypsies. He directed that. And just Robert Duvall is so sick. He's so sick and so good, and was so good and for so long in so many films. And like I said, he's like an actor who looked like he was never acting. Ever. Like you just totally believed him in every single film. So shout out to the great Robert Duvall. Happy birthday. 92nd birthday.
I think I was with you at the Grove back in 2006. I have this vivid memory of being at the Grove in 2006, and we were eating at a restaurant, and he was walking by, and you were like, "Oh shit, that's Robert Duvall." And I think you stopped him, and you guys had a conversation with each other. And I remember being like, "Oh shit, you're talking to Robert Duvall? That's fucking crazy." I always remember that.
I think I remember that. We were eating at that place outside of the movie theater. They changed it.
Yep, right next to the movie theater, and he walked by.
Damn, you got a good memory.
Probably 06.
In other news, Princess Harry, sorry. Prince Harry is continuing to just slut his entire life out for money. Princess Harry, sorry. Prince Harry is coming out with a book, a memoir, which he allegedly got paid $20 million to write. And I guess if they said, listen, we're going to give you $20 million, you better dig deep and come up with something. Because your life is not that interesting. So you better just, every single weird personal detail, we're going to need that for this $20 million, homie. And it's looking like he's brought all the goods. He's talked about, first of all, you would think with Meghan and him, all the things that they said about the royal family, like, did they call her the N-word? Did they call her like, like where's the smoking gun? Like, where's the smoking gun? Because they made it seem like they were like in some sort of like prison camp over there. And I'm like, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Harry just seems like he's throwing a ton of shit at the walls to see what sticks at this point. Because it's like, I don't know what, I mean, he's like Will Smith right now. You're just divulging fucking everything. No one cares. No one wants to know what's going on in your person. I mean, a lot of people do want to know, but I personally don't. I'm so fucking sick of hearing about it.
Well, do you want to care? Do you want to know that Prince Harry's actually circumcised? This is in the book.
Is he? I didn't know that. That is interesting, actually.
That's interesting. Whether Prince Harry's, you were curious about that?
Well, I did. I'm usually it's like for Jewish people. I didn't know. I mean, it seems like that's like a rite of passage for Jewish people. Like,
so you're glad you're glad that he divulged that in the book that he's.
You see, that's something that people want to know. You know what I mean? Like all the other shit, I could care less about. But it's like I didn't know that. That is something that's fascinating. It paints a whole new picture on who he is. So that's an interesting fact about him, I guess.
Oh, so you're not mad that he shared that information? You're actually that's worth the $20 million.
I think if you're getting paid $20 million, we want to hear, are you circumcised or not? Just answer the question.
Right. I get it. I understand. Right. For $20 million, that's the tip of the iceberg. No pun intended. Huh?
Right. Huh. Right.
Tip, circumcised, get it?
The iceberg because of Titanic.
Well, no, not the what does the iceberg have to do with? Oh, man. Wow. All right. He also talks about his circumcised dick freezing when he was skiing once.
Okay.
I mean, just this one piece of mundane information after another piece of mundane information, and I'm just like, you're just whoring yourself out. And Megan's got a book coming out. I'm like, your life is not that interesting. You're like a working actress who was married once. You're like, why are you writing a memoir? Like, who gives a shit about your life, Megan? And Harry, like, the fact that, like, you're in there talking about you froze your little dick off when you were skiing, and that the little dick that you got frostbite on is circumcised. I don't care about any of this. And then he's and then he's talking about the big news is that him and his brother, I don't know if he's princess or prince or king or soon to be king, or he's just Charlie ball game. Like, the big news is that him and Charlie, his brother Charlie, got into a fight.
No, his brother's not. Oh, Charlie, right.
Isn't it
Charlie,
Charles?
yeah.
Prince Charles?
Charles, yeah. And he calls him Harold. I heard in the book that he called him Harold. I thought that was cool too. He said, like, relax, Harold. Like,
during the incident?
He said something about Harold. I thought that was really tight that he called him Harold.
But the big breaking news is that Prince Charles and Prince Harry, the two brothers, got into a fight one time before a wedding, and Charles pushed down Harry, and Harry fell in the dog bowl, and his ass got wet, and the dog bowl broke. And I'm like, this is what you're talking about? And, like, you're making it seem like, what else are you supposed to do with your brother except for get beaten up, harassed, and harangued by your sibling? That's what siblings do. Like, my brother once chased me into a bathroom and broke the door down with a hockey stick. Like,
right.
That's fun. That's what life is about. That's like the joy, and that's the benefit of having a sibling. Like, I threw a dart in my brother's face once. That's dope.
That is dope. Like a dart, like an actual dart with, like, the fucking.
I threw a dart right into his cheek, and let me tell you something. Wow. The next time I threw darts, he wasn't standing so fucking close.
Right.
You know what I mean,
man? See, that's just isn't that just called having a brother?
That's just like, he's like, oh, Charles pushed me down. Like, you little bitch. You sound like a bitch, man.
Yeah, you sound like a pussy. I
like,
mean,
you got
my siblings and I. Yeah, my siblings and I, we used to just physically attack each other often. Sometimes for fun, sometimes not for fun. But I have two older brothers. It was basically WWE whenever we were trying to figure out who was going to play video games. I didn't write a book about it. I understood that's a rite of passage when you're a younger sibling. You know what I mean? And I mean, like, I had so many things that happened to me. I mean,
like what? Did they ever beat the shit out of you? Did your brothers ever, like, fucking kick your ass?
I didn't get my ass beat. There were other, like, ways.
Because I got to tell you, and I want to hear your story. And I asked a question, and I don't mean to interrupt. I got to tell you, now that I've asked that question, like, if I was your older brother, I would fucking kick your ass all the time.
I understand what you're saying. I don't know why. I don't understand why you're saying that. Like, you still want to do that. Like, you got, like, a look in your eye where you're like, I kind of still want to do that.
Like, you guys just celebrated the holidays. It was Hanukkah, New Year. Did your two brothers and your sister jump you over the holidays?
No, we don't really fight like that. And you know what? I've thought about what you're saying, and I think that maybe I'd be better off in life had I been beaten. had my father beat me, if my brothers like physically really attacked me in like a really bad way, I think that like I would be stronger, and I wouldn't look like I have this punchable face. Like because I've heard that from like time and time again. I've heard that from 2 different people in my life. Like, you have a punchable face, and maybe it's because it didn't get punched and there wasn't any of that residual damage that happened to me. And I think that maybe I would have been better off. But my brother, like, he set my hair on fire as a kid.
Right. That's good.
Like, my brother, there was actually one time where my brother, he put me in a cardboard box outside by the mailbox, and he addressed it to Africa. And, he gave me a blanket and some Oreos to keep me quiet. And thankfully, my mom came home and she noticed that I was in this box. Like, they tried to mail me to another country. Like, they didn't want me. And I think that, like, I guess you could say my brother pursued a career in human trafficking, back then.
That's what he should be doing. My brother once sprayed my dick with Brute cologne, and it stung.
I think that's just looking out for you.
No, it stung so bad. He sprayed my cock and balls, which I'm not going to divulge here, like fucking Harry, whether I'm circumcised or not, because no one cares. He sprayed my cock and balls with Brute cologne. One time my brother was beating me up so bad, and I remember he was in his underwear, his tighty whities. This is before they started making boxer shorts, and he was beating me up so bad. The only way I could get him off me is I stuck my finger up his ass. I mean, these things happen, Harry. Your brothers beat you so bad where the only way to get them off you was to stick your finger up their ass, right? Right?
No, that's never happened to me. I think that's like you maybe exploring your sexuality in a weird incestual way because you were confused. That's fine, but that is a strange. That's strange. You see, you're talking about things that like I don't think a lot of other people can relate to. I never put my finger up my brother's ass as a kid.
I didn't say I got to the knuckle. I am saying that. Listen, I deserved whatever I got. When my brother would take it to the level where like I was scared. Yeah. I deserved it. I harassed and harangued my brother all the time. So if I said stop and he didn't stop, I deserved it. But at a certain point when you say give, stop, oh, I'm hurt, and you don't get off, and I'm trying to get him off, and he's stronger than me, he's bigger than me, I'm gonna get creative. I'm gonna get out by any means necessary. And that particular time, like I said, I didn't go knuckle deep. I probably went just a little bit past the fingernail, but I stuck my finger right up his ass. I stuck my finger.
That's called fisting. That's what you didn't go knuckle deep. Like you have to like explain you didn't go knuckle deep. The fact that you even had like a fucking just the tip of your finger up there is disgusting.
How am I supposed to get him off? He's stronger than me. I was probably like 9. He's 11. He's stronger than me. I couldn't get him off. He had on his underwear. Oh. I had to get him off. The only way it was like a dog. They say when like dogs, pit bulls, when they've latched onto somebody, they say to stick your finger up their ass to get them off somebody.
I saw there was a fight at like Madison Square Garden. I remember seeing a fight where people were like, do you remember seeing that fight where they were tackling each other and they were punching each other and some random guy came up behind the other guy and put his finger up his ass and it like stopped the whole fight.
That's like what I'm literally saying. Stopped. It's a self-defense mechanism. Listen, right. I was in a street fight. The guy bit my ear. So it's the same type of thing. It's like you're losing the fight, bite his ear. You're losing the fight, stick your finger up his ass. There's no shame in the game.
By all means necessary. Yeah, I understand that. You have weird like when I was 9, my brother made me like go to my neighbor's house and steal paint cans and ladders and all sorts of hardware from our neighbor's house so that he could build a fort. And that neighbor actually called the cops and I was almost arrested for attempted robbery back then. Like you might have a book in you. You might have a biography book being that like, I'm sure you'll do your book for like way less than Harry did. Oh yeah, easily. I mean, I'm not writing a book. Absolutely, pay me like $200. I'll get on that book. Simon and Schuster, if you're listening, I'm fucking here, man. We should write. Maybe we should work on that together. But it's just a part of having a sibling, and that's some real pussy
Stop
shit.
whining. You got your Netflix docuseries. Now you and Megan are both writing books. Like, God damn. And like your lives are not that interesting. You're not that interesting. You're not victims. Like you said you didn't want anything to do with the royal family, but all you do is talk about the royal family. Like just move on with your life. Go away somewhere. Like get out of here, man.
I agree. Having you as a brother, that was, God, just thinking about that would be a fucking nightmare.
Oh, if I was a big brother to you, I would fuck you up, man.
Oh, that would be a fucking nightmare, man.
And I bet you a lot of people feel that way. Like, oh, yeah, if Dean Collins is my little brother, I'd be beating his ass all the time. I bet you a lot of people watching this and a lot of people listening are like, oh, yeah, if that was my little brother, I'd be fucking him up real nice and real proper like. Oh, yeah, I bet you a lot of people are feeling that way.
That makes a lot of sense as to why your brother doesn't even live in America at this point, because he's in Canada, right? He had to get the fuck away from your ass. He had to literally flee the country so that he doesn't have to see your face every day. I mean, you are a fucking terror. And if I was your brother, I'd be doing the same thing. I'd be moving to fucking England too. I'd be moving to Canada. I'd go anywhere I could to not be in your presence. Fuck Thanksgiving, Christmas, all that shit. I'd start a whole new life without you.
Finally, I would be remiss if I didn't come clean about how upsetting the last 24 hours has been for me personally as a Real Housewives fan. It has been brutal. We all know that I love my Real Housewives. It's sports and it's reality TV, starting with the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Dubai, Salt Lake City, Dallas, Jersey, New York, Potomac, and now, of course, a great season of Miami. And in the last 24 hours, we've lost two of the great modern era housewives of all time. Jen Shaw from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, as of the recording of this I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast, has been sentenced to 6.5 years in prison for wire fraud and fraud charges. There's been this case has been looming for about 1.5 years. She finally got sentenced earlier today, 6.5 years. And of course, the victims are the ones who really suffered because allegedly, she took advantage of older people and this company that she had started, they were fucking people over. They were taking their money and taking advantage of people. And, some of the victim statements have been read online, and it's terrible what she's done. And unfortunately, as entertaining as she's been for the last few seasons on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, it's unacceptable what she's done. And she's going to jail for 6.5 years. It sucks for her. It sucks even more for the victims. It sucks for the fact that she's a mother, a wife to younger kids or to a younger kid. But like I said, you can't. I mean, you have to be out of your mind to know in your heart that you're doing illegal shit, and to know in your heart that you're doing illegal shit, and then to go, yeah, I'm gonna go on a Real Housewives television show on Bravo. Like you have to be in serious denial to be doing that. So she's going to jail for 6.5 years. She's been wildly entertaining, off the cuff, nuts. She seems to still be in denial about what she's done, and that's what made her great, because she's nuts. She was in my DMs. I don't know if I told you that. She was in my DMs. Wow.
She was in my DMs. I don't, you know me, I don't watch Real Housewives and all that, but I think I asked you, I was like, who's this woman, Jen Shaw? She's following me. She's liking everything. She's commenting on everything. And she was in my DMs. And, way back when, I was considering answering her and maybe potentially going on a date because, I was rejected by the Queen, Erica Jane. And, she was my first pick. And so I had to go for second best. And, Jen Shaw seemed like a viable option. And man, all I could say is I'm kind of glad I didn't open up that DM. I could have been going in there with her.
Who knows what kind of fraud you could have been linked into. She saw a sucker in you, and maybe she wanted to bring you down also. And
potentially, but anyway, that's yeah.
And that was just, that sucks. for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City fans. And of course, it sucks for the people that were taken advantage of by Jen Shaw and her accomplices. And even more devastating, the great Lisa Rinna from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is not coming back for the next season. And I got to be honest, like, this is not shtick. If you watch the shows like I watch them, think about if, like, Ross wasn't coming back to Friends, or Rachel wasn't coming
like
back to what?
It's like a death. It's like you're grieving this character or this woman on this show. I mean, you sound like it. You sound like you're really upset by it.
Really upset. I'm sitting shiver. I'm mourning the loss that we, the fans, are going to have to deal with Lisa Rinna not returning to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And I will be the first to tell you, Lisa Rinna has annoyed me. She has frustrated me. She has infuriated me at times. But when I'm able to separate church and state like any smart Real Housewives of Beverly Hills television fan, I am able to separate that. We need her to drive you nuts. We need her to frustrate with you. We need her to infuriate you. We need her to make you angry. And then people go, a lot of fans were like, it's good she's left. It's good she's gone. Bye, Rinna, bye. You deserve it. We don't need the toxicity. And I'm like, what are you watching the Real Housewives for if you're not watching for at least some toxicity? We want the toxicity. What?
You want a fucking dumpster fire when you're watching this shit. I mean, what's the point of watching?
Yeah, of course. Certain people want the bags and the diamonds and the outfits and the houses. That's all the costume. But what really brings you back week after week, episode after episode, is the craziness, is the toxicity. Right. We don't want people beating each other up. Yes, things got dark with Rinna. Yes, things got dark with Rinna, Kathy Hilton, and Kyle. Yes, things have gotten dark with Erica Jane. Yes, things got dark on the Real Housewives of New York. Yes, things got dark on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Yes, things have gotten dark on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Yes, things get dark in the Real Housewives. That's a fact. But without things getting dark, when they get light, when that sun comes out, we wouldn't appreciate it the way we do. So I am mourning the loss of the great Lisa Rinna. I am upset with the fans that are celebrating her departure from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And now she will be missed, my friends. Oh, yeah, she will be missed. And heading into next season, it's basically Erica Jane versus them all. And all I could say to you, Erica Jane, is sharpen up them claws. Sharpen up them claws, because you're queen bee all by yourself, and they're all going to be coming for you because Lisa ain't there. Things done changed on Rodeo Boulevard, and I'm upset about it. And I think when Lisa Rinna is gone for a season, we will appreciate how fantastic she has been for all these seasons. Yeah, you're damn right I'm upset she's left, Dean.
Well, can I ask you a question about this? Because I know you're so passionate, you're so fiery about it. You really are like the king of the Real Housewives. Like, I've never seen anyone. I don't know. It's just funny that how much you love it. But like,
excuse me. I don't think it's funny.
No, it's not.
I don't think it's funny. I'm mourning right now. So go on.
I understand. I don't want to like. I don't want to fucking rain on your parade or anything, but you are notorious for like, you've been on the panels, you've gone to BravoCon, you know all these people, you know Erica Jane, you know Lisa Rinna. I feel like you know all the housewives, and you have the inside scoop as to how these housewives really are outside of the show. And like, my question to you is like, Lisa Rinna and like Erica Jane and all these people, is it an act? Like what is it like outside of the show? How, like, what are these people like outside of the show? Like, what are your interactions?
Very good question. I will say this. I have such admiration, such respect for all those housewives that I've met. And I've never spent any real human quality time with them. And to be honest, I don't try to. I respect their space. I respect the boundaries. I don't want to know what's behind the curtain. I don't know what's an act, what's not an act. As far as I'm concerned, when it says the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I take it at face value. These people are entertainers, whether they're aware how great they are or totally unaware how great they are. They are entertainers. They bring joy. They bring chaos. They bring conversation. And to try to get rid of any one of them because you don't like their toxicity, well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. So to answer your question, I haven't spent that much time with them. I've met a bunch of them in passing, of course, as an honored guest. An honored guest on Watch What Happens Live. I met a bunch of them as an honored panelist at the 2020-22 BravoCon. But I don't try to get into their business or try to get to know them any more than as a fan. I'm a fan. And I respect my place as a fan, and I respect Lisa Rinna's place as a queen, okay, of the Real Housewives, of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm done. I can't go on. Are you happy about that now? I can't go on. Excuse me, I want to end the show now.
That's your show. And I was just asking a question.
God damn it, I'm talking. I'm ending the show. I don't want to talk about the Real Housewives anymore. It's too upsetting. I'm going to go home and sit shiva. Yo, I'm out. I appreciate you guys watching. Leave a comment. Okay, ask a question. Leave a request. Okay, leave it all. Subscribe, rate, and review. And I appreciate you guys watching.